ASIS 2017, Dallas, Texas. I'm at the ASIS Hub. That's booth 1613, smack dab in the middle of the show. So come on by and say hi and take some publicity pictures and tweet, securityguytv.com. Now, I'm so happy to have Mr. Mark Berger back, securitech.com. This is one of my favorite companies, and it's a very simple reason why. It works, okay? That's the idea. It's not a tough concept. It works. And tell us what you guys do.
So SecureTech is a leader in the area of physical security, but on the old-fashioned locking side of the street.
The good old-fashioned locks, yes. So imagine we have locks anymore.
Well, you know, this door still has to latch, and
right.
Security resides at the fusion of safety and security.
Right.
So we're trying to take all the best methods of force protection, protection against forced entry, and all sorts of things that are out there right now, and sort of marry them with the life safety requirements to make sure that people can exit.
Oh, good point. That's a great point. Now,
right.
You had a product. Give me the name again. We're probably going to see it in a second. But there's this lock that schools use a lot.
Right.
What's cool about it is anybody can open it, anybody can lock it. And so some of your schools actually train kids, if there's an active shooter situation or something dangerous, any kid can walk by that door and push a button and instantly lock the classroom.
You're right on the money, and I have nothing more to say.
Okay. Thanks for coming on the show. That was great.
Okay. No, but you're exactly right. So there are a couple of ways.
What's that product called, by the way?
That's the QID.
Okay.
The concept that we have behind is very simple. We don't believe a credential should be used to lock down the door for two reasons. Number one, the teacher could be in the back of the room. The teacher may have left the classroom.
A teacher could be shot. I mean, who knows?
God forbid, yes. Right. But all those things can happen. So we want to make sure that anybody in the room can lock down the door. The second part of it is we want to make sure, and this is an important factor, that anybody from the outside, anybody with a credential, anybody with a key, meaning a first responder,
right,
an administrator, or the teacher, can always use a key to enter, that you've never barricaded the door.
Right.
Okay, so you've got the maximum amount of security, and you've got life safety, so that whole SecureTech definition. So if you'll hold this for a second.
Okay, yeah, let's take a look at one of these. Now, is this that door? Oh, yeah, it is. Look at that.
The whole door with it.
Yeah, this is fabulous. Let's see. Now, bring it up. You got to bring it up above the graphics.
Okay.
So right about there is good. Okay, good.
So the concept behind it is very simple. Anybody can approach the door, red button, and it sets off an indicator, projects a deadbolt, and locks the outside handle. So I'll do it in slow motion. Anybody can exit. Pull the handle down, press the button, bolt, and the outside of the door is locked. However, as I mentioned with the credentials, at any time you can use a key to turn it here, turn it the other way, get it the right way, and enter.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I should learn how to work locks. It'd be a lot better.
It might be.
But that's the critical thing that we have in that space. Now, what we've discovered is while we originally designed this for the K through 12 environment, there have been incidents in universities, as we all know, over the last year.
Yes.
And as opposed to students having to pile all their desks against the door and all sorts of things, we've just created a model of this for the university marketplace.
Is it easier to use for the university kid? I had to put that joke in there.
Well, that's
I had to do it.
You're laughing, but I've been asked to put signage on those doors.
No, are you serious? All right.
Well, but here's the reason why.
Okay, all right.
In an elementary school, as you mentioned before, what we like to do is have everybody at the beginning of the year and when they come back from Christmas break, go through the safety drills. Just like when we go to a movie right now, before the movie starts, tells you where the exits are.
You'll have muscle memory, you'll do it automatically.
Right. When you go on an airplane, exits here, there, right? Okay. Same thing in the classroom. The beginning of the year, in the event of a situation, we try not to use active shooter, don't want to scare kids. They learn where the safe space is, the safe haven inside the classroom, and everybody learns that who's ever closest to the door, just like the door monitor or the hall monitor we used to have in the old days, your job is to press that red button.
Yeah.
And then the important thing is to line up all the kids and give everybody a chance to press that red button and try it. Because if you don't line them up, they're going to try it at some other point.
That's right, exactly.
So you might as well have them through. So that's worked out very well in the schools that have had it. We've never had reports of problems with students pressing the buttons or, at errand times and things like that.
And that's some super duper. You can't, of course, we don't have surround sound or smell sound or touch sound here on Security Guy TV, but that is one solid door. I mean, I haven't seen a better lock set. I mean, that's.
I appreciate that.
And you're the manufacturer, aren't you?
We are the manufacturers.
See,
We're
this
the
is
designers.
This is really key. This is really key to the quality, because you're the guy that owns it. You're building it, and you know that it works.
And we have a great team behind us, and always coming up with innovations. And where I was leading to is that in the K through 12 world, every student you can line up at the beginning of the year.
Right.
We're starting to do universities now.
Okay.
And in universities, you don't have that opportunity with all of your students to line them up in the classes and things like that. So we've got to add signage to the doors, as I was mentioning before, so that they know what that red button is all about. So you all know run, hide, fight. Before you run, if you're going to do the hide part, you've got to get that red button.
Well,
pressed.
and red makes you want to push it, and people say, I shouldn't push red. I shouldn't push the red button, but curiosity is going to draw it to that too. But it's easy to see. Now, what's interesting about your university discussion is, this is maybe about 5 years ago. I was down at the University of San Diego. No, Cal State, San Diego. One of the Cal State schools. They're making it active shooter training is now mandatory for all incoming freshmen. So basically, every 4-year kid now is trained in active shooter.
Right.
We tie this kind of stuff into it. We're going to see. I'm not going to say zero, but I'm going to say, almost a zero mortality rate in some of these things if you respond properly. So this is a great combination.
Yeah. So I had the discussion at the university where they said, well, we can't educate our kids. I said, well, I've got 2 kids that are, one who's graduated, one who's in university right now. And I know that you do a lot in freshman orientation.
Yeah.
And that's the exact time to train them what to do.
It's the best
what's
training.
Going on.
I don't need to know about the color of my excrements, because that's what they did at my kid's school. You walk in that bathroom, there's a sign up there telling you everything you need to know about going to the bathroom. I'm going, I covered that when they were 2 years old, right? We need to do that. But they're not going to put this kind of stuff on there. It's a cultural thing we have to overcome.
Sure.
I think we're getting there, and I'm really glad to see this. Now, do you deal in any of the, the cyber locks or electronic stuff?
Well, Securitech, we like to say that the access control and cylinders, those are all the head end. Right. We are the other end of the wire on the electronic stuff. So we'll work with anything. We have an electronic version of that as well. For example, for a school, most of the doors you'll want to use the mechanical version, but if you've got a school office, you'll want to have an electronic way to lock down that door. And we also have a product called the Lexi Lockdown for schools, where if you've got an auditorium with 4 doors, 6 doors, it is impractical to think that anybody's going to be able to run to all the doors in the event of an active shooter. So we use the lockdown stations, and we add our trim to the outside of the door, and you can have the trim open so students can enter freely, but single button will lock down all the doors instantly.
Oh, they're all connected as a network.
Tied
that's
together.
Fantastic. Very smart, very smart.
So that's the space that we're in. We try to listen to what the users want. We want to make sure that the entire school envelope is secured. We also use that on the entrance doors to schools, so that if you're admitting students at the beginning of the day, typically you'll have an administrator there. The door will be held open. You may have the door unlocked for people to enter it in inclement weather and things like that. But if you see somebody approaching who's dangerous, you hit the fob and it locks down the door.
Well, that's fantastic. Now, would you say that schools are your number one vertical?
No, Securitech's all over the place. We do a lot in public transportation.
All right.
And the New York City Transit Authority is one of our largest users. Lots of locks over there. We do a lot in public housing. We do a lot in residential housing, multifamily. We've got a lot of solutions in that space. And one of the unique products that I brought with me to show you in that space, let's let that not fall down on me, is... No, not that. We have our unique power transfer that goes at the top of a door. Pull out the other part. And that's would be mounted in the top of an aluminum door, and this would be a plate on the frame.
Right.
So as the door closes, it makes contact, and you can bring power down to the electric lock.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So you don't have to have a loop.
Very simple.
And it goes at the top of the door.
Right.
We had trouble naming it. We kept on calling it the thing at the top, the thing at the top. This is now called the yarmulke.
That's very good. Let's get a little closer on that.
Okay.
Louis, can we see that? Is that a pretty good shot?
And that's the plate that mounts on the frame.
Very simple.
And it mounts, designed to fit inside an aluminum tube.
Right.
And it works very effectively.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. So
because there's never enough conduit anywhere, and pulling things to a door is very expensive sometimes. It's a brilliant solution.
Right. Well, aluminum doors have a problem because they've got all different hinging arrangements.
Right.
So we want to make something common for our dealers to be able to work with.
Yeah.
So SecureTech has a lot of good electric locking solutions in that way. And then, of course, automatic deadbolt locking is one of the areas where we excel. It's used in windstorm applications. It's used in safe rooms. One of our monikers for the company is as the safe room locking specialists, because we've got more solutions for safe rooms than just about anybody that's
Over
out
1,000 combinations of solutions, if I can tell.
there. That's it.
That's right.
Much more.
Mark Berger,
Okay.
SecureTech.com, SecuRitech. We're on podcast listeners. Check them out. Oh, what's your booth number?
We are at booth 2224.
2224. It's just right across here from ASI's International Hub at 1613. So come on by and say hi to Mark. Totally cool guy and has some really cool information and demos for you guys. Be back in a minute here on Security Guy TV at ASI's 2017 Dallas, Texas. Take us out, Mr. Lewis. Out, Mr. Lewis. Out, Mr. Lewis. Out, Mr. Lewis.